Hi, my name is Eric Bilginoğlu. I'm a seasoned executive with more than 15 years of experience in 4 different countries, working for big multinational companies at different roles, from supply chain to sales and marketing, from business development and startups to finance management. And I recently started through my blog and speeches, sharing my experience and information with others. So good evening. We'll talk about corporate startups, and specifically we'll talk about how they failed and why they failed. Why not success stories, but failure? Not that I don't have any success stories, don't take me wrong, but success stories are public information. Everybody loves to talk about success stories and how they succeed. If you go into YouTube or Google, you will find hundreds of stories about how great startups happened, how the guy started a business with $500 in a garage and sold it in 10 years for $2 billion to Google. So everybody's proud to tell about how they were successful. But failures, on the other side, are not that public, because people are shy to talk about failures, especially when it comes to their own failures. So this is not really public information. And why not any startup, but specifically corporate startups? Well, you know this principle of journalism. When a dog bites a man, this is no news. While when a man bites a dog, this is news. An individual startup failing is not news. Every year, about 5 million new businesses are started in the US by entrepreneurs. And 80% of them fail as early as in the first year. And the reasons are, most of the time, no secret. They either made a lousy business plan, they made too optimistic assumptions about their business plan, and this is how entrepreneurs are. If you're not optimistic or enthusiastic, you can't be an entrepreneur, and you waste all your time in corporate life. So, on the other hand, corporate startups are not supposed or expected to fail, because these guys have experience, have deep pockets, have know-how, have industry, knowledge, and everything, but they still do fail. And this is the sexy part. So I like to talk about why corporate startups fail. Well, but why do they fail? Because at the end of the day, they're not expected to fail. They got everything it takes to be successful. They got everything. They got money. They got patience. They got, know-how. They got seemingly good people. But why do they fail? Well, the reason is something you will hear many times tonight from me. Human. Because the business is done by human, done for human, sometimes done against human. Even the pet food. Hey, that poor dog you're feeding in your 60 square meter flat actually doesn't need your food you buy from the shop. If you leave him alone in nature, he will survive. You're buying pet food to feel good yourself. So this is even for the human. So everything is about human. And when business is about human, this takes us to the fact that the failure or success of business is also about human. It all starts with the wrong mindset. Because human beings typically have prejudices. They have their own opinions, own ideas, own comfort zones, own ecosystems. So it all starts with wrong mindset. What I mean by wrong mindset? In today's volatile times, where you really don't know what will happen tomorrow, the key thing is not to do things which you think are nice to have. You should only do things, otherwise you're in trouble, that are must-have. most of the time, companies see overseas ventures or, new geographies as nice to have ventures, which is a wrong mindset. And this wrong mindset, we will see in a couple of minutes, will create all the problems. And when you start with this kind of mindset, you assign the wrong leader to run this business. What do I mean by wrong or right leader? Of course, this is most of the time controversial. It also depends on circumstances, cultures, country to country, it might change, and everything. But when it comes to startup, the experience shows, and it's no-brainer, that the right leader, at least the leader with the biggest possibility or probability of success, has a couple of typical qualities. First, the right startup leader is a warrior. He has a target, he knows the target, he sees the target, and he will walk to this target, run to this target, no matter what happens on the way. The right startup leader is resilient. He will never be down with setbacks, problems, issues on the way. He will stand up and keep on walking. The right startup leader is a world citizen. He's a universal person. He or she is open to new ideas, new cultures, new countries, new ways of doing things, flexible. And last but not the least, the right startup leader is actually an entrepreneur. Even if we're talking about corporate startups, you need an entrepreneur with all these qualities to really make it a success. And of course, most of the time, it's difficult to find these entrepreneurs in your corporate talent pool. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, when you look at your own corporate talent mix or corporate talent pool, it will be difficult to find these entrepreneurs. Because the dilemma is, you need entrepreneurial drive, so you need someone with entrepreneurial drive. But what is entrepreneurial drive and where are these people? Well, this is one of those cliches, if you like, I've been hearing all throughout my career working for big multinational companies. Entrepreneurial drive. It's like a holy, sacred concept, I haven't seen one single company who put in its internet site something like, in this company we don't like entrepreneurial drive. Or I haven't seen one single business leader who said, I don't need people with entrepreneurial drive. In the last 15, 20 years, I constantly hear, we need people with entrepreneurial drive. This guy is great because he's got entrepreneurial drive. But in reality, and some of you will realize that soon enough, the system is such that it kills your entrepreneurial drive if you work for long enough with corporate companies. Because they have so many guidelines, procedures, rules, that they don't give you this space to display your entrepreneurial drive. But hey, you need an entrepreneurial driven guy.